So in today's video, we're not reviewing a car, but we are reviewing an experience that Pat just had. As two F1 fans, having never been, I want to know, is it worth the price tag to go to an F1 event? If you guys are not Formula One fans, you're wrong. The video's not for you, so go ahead and skip it. If you're a fan of Formula One, if you're a fan of Drive to Survive on Netflix, this is a video
racing in general.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna try to discover, based on his experience, should I save up and we go to an event, or should we just really enjoy the amazing footage we get on TV? Hopefully by the end of this episode, I will either have a savings goal, or I will just run and watch the next GP on Sunday. Super excited. Let's get into it. If you guys aren't familiar, there's a show on Netflix called Drive to Survive, and from what I can tell, that's what kind of brought me and Heather, my wife, into Formula One. We had never really been into it. I love that show, but as of the last year, we have turned into like hardcore super fans. We have the F1 app. We watch every GP. It's like a serious thing. When you look up online, ever since that Netflix show, F1 has blown up in the US.
Drive to Survive has done an amazing job of really, I don't want to say commercializing, but they've done a really good job of bringing the F1 experience to US fans.
And to a super broad market. Drive to Survive does a great job. Now that I'm an F1 fan, I do kind of see like what they do with the show. But there's
some drama.
That's not what this video is about. You just went to the Miami Grand Prix.
I did.
And we're going to get into some details. I have some questions for you about the experience. Online, ever since that show came out, pricing in America to go to a Grand Prix supposedly is prohibitively expensive, to the point that I've never even looked at it, because I'm like, dude, I can't afford that right now. That's where I'm at from this. Patrick and I have not talked about this previously. I wanted to have this conversation with you guys and him at the same time.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a really good job of...
He was literally trying to tell me stuff earlier, and I'm like, stop! We're recording a video today. Okay, so take us through, firstly, as a fan, take us through what your experience was like going to the GP. What type of tickets did you have? And overall, like succinctly, how good of a time did you have at the GP at Miami?
I'm going to plug a buddy's podcast real quick.
Okay.
If you are an F1 fan or getting into the show, there's a podcast called the Formation Lap Podcast. It's my good friend Duder and his now fiance Els run that, and I was a guest a couple of times over the past couple of weeks on that show.
So your experience, like you actually, was that your first F1 event that you actually went to? Wow. Okay, so that's huge. How did you feel? Did you have a good time? Like, just take me through generally how the event was for you.
I had a fantastic time as a huge F1 fan, as a fan of racing in general. And there's not only F1 cars there, they did have a support series, so a lot of events in Europe have F2 as the support series, or another race series that comes along so that the fans have things to do constantly. But overall, there was a lot of racing action. There's tons of fan things to do. There's something like 90 odd different food and bar experiences and vendors and things for you to do just on the grounds. So there's never a point where I was like, man, I have nothing to do right now.
From my perspective, you know, we're watching qualifying, we're watching the race on Sunday. Is that what you're doing there? Like, are you at pre-qualifying and practice? Are you at qualifying? Like, when are you, because you have these seats.
Yep.
Can you only be in those seats, or can you walk around? Like, what else do you get to see while you're at an F1 event?
Sure. So we sat in particular in the family grandstand, is what it's called if you go onto their website. It is on the back straight between turn 10 and 11. The benefit is the top, like, half of the grandstand is covered, so it's shaded.
Oh, and you're in Miami,
which is
so it is
fantastic.
Yeah, I bet.
So, do we sit really far back? Yes. Are we close to the cars? Still, yes.
Yeah.
But we're shaded. That's really the big benefit. And to be clear, I did not book these tickets.
Okay.
This was a surprise for me for my 30th birthday from my wife, Paige.
Nice.
I had a grandstand ticket, which means I have an assigned seat.
Right.
And I can go sit there and hang out and whatever. It was nice and shaded. In that comes the standard general admission ticket, which they call the Campus Pass.
Okay.
So the Campus Pass allows you to 14 different viewing platforms all around the track,
And you could just walk to them and...
Yep, standing room only. So they're like slightly elevated, like basically to the height of the track wall.
Gotcha.
So that you can be like up against the crash fence watching these cars blast past you.
Percentage-wise, what percentage of the time were you in your seats versus walking around to the general standing areas?
We didn't spend a lot of time in the standing areas just because it was so hot and we knew we had a shaded seat, so we wanted to take advantage of that. All of the qualifying and all of the race, we were in our seats.
Okay.
I have a map photo you guys can look at right here of like the top-down view of where our seats were.
Right.
There's different sectors of like the fan experiences. There's all these different areas. I thought we had missed out on like 2 of them. There was so much other stuff going on and so many cool vendor areas and like bars and hangout spots that like we didn't have time. Like we tried to explore as much as we could.
You just ran out of time.
And like we missed approximately between 55 and 60% of like the available stuff to do.
Just to get a general idea, you guys, I would say, probably had like an average seat spot. It wasn't like, you know, you're not like VIP access.
No, it was like, you know, one step above general admission. Now, general admission's cool because it's very inexpensive.
Okay, so how much is general admission?
I saw tickets as cheap as $100 for the weekend.
So you had the shaded seats, which now seems like the most ideal situation. So how much did the shaded seats cost?
They were $1,900 for the pair for the weekend.
So you could actually go to a GP for the entire weekend and just get general admission. Granted, you don't have any... I'm sure there's like restaurants and stuff you can go.
Yeah, there are restaurants. There are like tons of shaded spots. There's tons of seating. There are like the viewing platforms are really cool. That's included in the general admission thing. You don't have to pay extra to go do that.
Okay, so free ice cold water.
Yep.
General admission is cheap and you get access to everything other than literally a seat with your name on it, essentially.
Yeah, there's like 2 areas that you have to be a Paddock Club member to get into, which is that's the astronomically expensive.
Okay, gotcha. Right now I'm trying to build the pricing understanding.
I have it all broken down for what we spent, so we can go over that.
So, water taken care of, general admission, option for cheap, more expensive if you want seats. What about food? Is food like Disney food, like grossly expensive for like meh food? Or so where are we at with the food situation?
So food vendors, there's 60 odd food vendors. There are sit down style restaurants. There are covered like food, like dining hall kind
all
of deals.
Inside the...
All within this campus. You can walk to any of it. So we were staying, for the most part, we stayed in East Campus and the Promenade. There were tons of restaurants, tons of bars. There was, I don't think there's any particular like style of food that you were like, man, I really want that, and they didn't have it. You know, like, it's stadium food. Like, a burger, fries, and a drink is like $25.
Is that expensive for like a regular place?
Yeah, like you're not,
but if you're gonna go see a baseball game, like you're going to pay that.
It's baseball prices, yeah.
What was the best thing you ate while you were there?
Ooh, that's a hard question.
You're in Miami.
At the track. Yeah. We had some very good food away from the track, just kind of
I want to know. I don't care about Miami.
The track,
I care about the campus,
I think Paige's favorite thing was these honey barbecue chicken and waffles. My favorite thing were actually these amazing empanadas. Holy crap.
We have to move on from this food conversation.
I'm starving.
You're going to hear my stomach.
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock and I'm hungry.
Right. So I know I literally just said we're not going to talk about off campus. Where did you guys stay and how was it to get from where you were staying to campus? Because Heather and I were watching the Grand Prix and knew you guys were there. I texted you. I was like, we're looking for you.
And I was like, you'll never see us.
Well, did you guys have a hard time finding a hotel? Where did you end up staying, and were those prices elevated?
So, hotel prices were astronomical.
Okay.
We opted for an Airbnb.
Which is always the right option.
Yeah, kind of down close to the airport. So, like, from the airport to our Airbnb was like 15-minute drive.
Okay.
From the Airbnb to the track Friday, because there was not a lot of people going up there, but we had to fight with, like, regular commuter traffic on Friday. It was like a 30-minute ride.
Okay.
Saturday was like a 25 to 30-minute ride.
Did you guys Uber or drive there?
We drove. We rented a car.
So you had a rental car. Assuming that somebody has to fly there, because the majority of the time that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, the majority of folks
if you fly there, do you think the move is to get a rental car or just Uber?
Rental car. 100%.
So you are good with having flown, you're good with your rental car item.
Yeah, and the benefit of the rental car is not only are you getting to and from the track at your leisure, you're not paying astronomical Uber prices.
Right.
And then you can also just explore Miami, because it's a really cool city and a really cool place. For reference of the astronomical hotel pricing, is like the DoubleTree at the airport was like $2,200 a night. Our Airbnb was $500 for the week.
Jeez, so Airbnb is definitely the way to go.
And we flew down Wednesday and came back Monday.
I kind of look at this event kind of like a Disney trip where you've got your hotel or your Airbnb. Are you waking up in the morning, going to campus, and you're at campus all day?
Yep.
And then at night you might go have dinner, and then you come home.
Yep.
You come back.
The
sleep.
Airbnb is there to shower and sleep.
Right. Okay. So, did you guys have dinner on campus, or was that a go explore a place in Miami?
We went and did the explore place in Miami thing for the most part. We tried to do pretty good about not buying a ton of food at the track because it's slightly elevated pricing.
Okay, so as a fan, you're used to this is the thing my cornerstone thing I'm curious of.
Sure.
When my wife and I watch the Grand Prix at home, we have the best seats in the house because
you can view
I'm chilling
everything
on my
from
couch. I got my fridge 10 feet behind me, and I've got 4K cameras flying all over the place.
Yep.
As a fan that is used to that, how did you feel watching it there? And afterwards, have you watched it on TV?
So Paige and I watched it on Sunday.
Oh, like this last Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you watched it.
It's been about a week since I've been back.
Right.
For transparency's sake, but we
Right.
rewatched the race on Sunday.
Okay, how does that compare to actually being in your one location and you only see the cars go by every now and then?
So that's the kicker, is where we are seated, and almost everywhere around the track, there is a giant screen that shows the telecast.
So you get
no
the
matter-
best of all the world!
No matter where you're sitting, you can look up at the big screen and see everywhere else a part of the track. And my favorite thing that we did is we'd watch them, and they'd get near where we're going, and then we'd go back to watching the screen.
Oh
And, like,
my god, yes!
the super cool part of where we were is, again, on that back straight, DRS is open. They are hauling.
And passing.
225, 230 miles an hour. And we got to watch them like come around. If you watch it online or watch it on television or whatever, where the walls on the back straight all turn into Red Bull stuff. There's a Red Bull bridge and it's all that.
Right.
That was our seats on the right.
Okay.
So that is where everybody was making their coming out of the draft to go into the couple hundred more yards into the braking zone. So we saw everybody come flying towards us, break out from behind each other, and then we could watch the screen, or if you lean forward, so if you were further down the stands from us, you could see turn 11. But the issue I had is like the audio wasn't great. It wasn't terrible.
Okay.
The audio was very loud.
So over they were announcing audio
Correct.
to you guys.
When you had earplugs in, it was like the perfect volume.
Okay.
Because it sounded like you were watching it at your house.
Right.
And then also you weren't going deaf at these cars blasting past you.
Gotcha. My wife has specific questions as well. This is how much my wife's into this. She literally is like, "Hey, we're watching this tonight." Some extended review.
Yeah,
of
Heather,
Christian
when
Horner.
she finds a new
My
thing,
wife
she
is
goes
so-
all
Bro,
in.
you guys have no freaking idea. My wife is so hardcore into F1 right now. She should honestly be doing this video.
Me and her just send F1 memes back and forth to each other. It's hilarious.
Was there anything that surprised you about the event that he or they weren't expecting from the event?
That is a good question. I think the most surprising thing is how much stuff there is to do.
Outside of just watching the
Correct.
racing?
Yeah,
Okay.
so like when you're in between sessions, the Porsches are racing, and if you're there and you really just don't care about that, you're wrong, but that's fine.
Right.
So right next to us, for reference, is the Turn 10 bridge that goes into like the infield of the track. On the outside of the track next to us, there is like a giant restroom. It's porta potties.
Right.
Let's all be real. It's porta potties, but it is divided like men's and women's, and there's like 40 on either side. There's tons.
Good God.
There is a water filling station right there. There's a first aid station. There are 2 guest services stations. There's probably 10 different food vendors.
So you're not bored or don't
Yeah.
have something to do
Yeah,
during
there
the
was
time?
never a moment in our 3 days, and we got to the track the minute the gates opened and left when they closed. And there was never a moment where we were like, man, there's not something to do.
You were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Which is very normal. If you're a fan that watches at home, you have stuff to watch Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
What was your favorite day of those 3? I know people are probably going to think that Sunday, but like qualifying gets really intense.
Yeah, qualifying
So-
was lit. I want to say Sunday because it's the race, and obviously
Right.
like that's the important day.
Right.
But I
That's
think-
where like points are going to be made and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Right?
like as a fan, I think honestly Saturday.
Okay.
So
qualifying.
FP3 and qualifying, and then the first of 2 Porsche races. So
Okay.
like the on-track action was almost non-stop. The most people are there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's again the important.
It's race day. Yeah.
It's race day. That's the day where everybody's there. The fact that there wasn't that many people there both Friday and Saturday made like when I walked around and went to like an experience that would normally have a line, like I walked
Yeah.
right in.
I mean, it's sounding like the pricing that you've talked about goes in line with what I would expect to go to a Disneyland or World resort situation. Are things like slightly elevated? Yeah, but it's not a situation.
It's not astronomical.
You just save up for. It's like any trip. You save up for it and you go to it. So you've gone to the GP now.
Yep.
In Miami. We also have Las Vegas and I think Austin. Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got 2 other locations here in America that do events.
If you need someone to come out and create a bunch of content for that, we would love to
my
do
wife
so.
and I would also happily.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
please.
I
don't know who I need to talk to, but I will do whatever you want.
Thank you for saying that and not what I expected you to say.
I would do what you think.
I know. All right, moving on. Now that you've gone, like you've had that experience now.
Yep.
You're still a giant F1 fan.
Yep.
Do you want to go to another one? Do you want to go to another one in America? Do you want to try like one in another country? Where are you at as far as attending GPs now that you've got your introductory experience into one?
Given that allegedly this is the most expensive one to go to.
Miami was?
Yeah, that's what everybody on the internet, all the articles like this is the most expensive GP. I'll just say this, we are actively working on the logistics to go next year.
I mean, if I'm gonna do like quick maths, did you guys spend around the $4,000 mark?
A little
generally?
less. Yeah.
A little less than $4,000.
Yeah, I have the exact numbers. Hold on.
This is something I would really want to do, and if I was
a week-long Disney trip for 2 people is minimum $4,000.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and Disney is the only thing I have like that my wife and I have done semi recently that kind of like puts me in the ballpark. But if we're talking like $3,500 to $4,000 for a 3-day event,
you could do it. I think,
and you had seats.
Yeah,
you could have done grandstands, or you could have done general admission.
Yeah, if it's in the budget to do seats,
right?
Do seats,
right?
Do covered seating. I'm telling you,
but that was 50% of your price.
Yeah, it was 94 degrees.
No, I get
sunny.
That. I'm saying like if people are out there and like you live in Las Vegas or Austin, or you live in Miami, you could get general admission and spend less than $1,000. So how much did you guys spend? So you had seats, which included general admission. Does this include dinners at night? Like,
yes.
I want to know what an entire experience costs, which is why I'm glad that you guys ended up flying.
Yeah.
Because I would have to add that in.
So these numbers are, we went Wednesday to Monday. So we flew down on Wednesday.
Right.
We actually went to the Marlins Braves game on Thursday. So we spent $1,900 on the actual Miami tickets.
Right.
$700 on flights.
Okay.
$550 on the Airbnb.
Okay.
About $500 on the rental car, including gas. Parking at the event.
Okay.
$150.
Not terrible.
So $50 a day. That
makes sense.
We spent about $250 on food for the week. So we made like a grocery store run. That was going out to dinner at night. That was food at the event. We spent about $150 at the Marlins game.
Okay.
And that's the 2 tickets plus parking, and we got some merch.
Gotcha.
And then we spent $200 on F1 merch. All in $4,400.
You have some issues with the people online saying certain things about the expensiveness of the event. And can the event be expensive? Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want to spend $50,000 on VIP tickets and great seats and eat Wagyu burgers all day, every day, you can certainly do that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say an event is expensive, what you're saying is there is not an option for you to do it cost effectively.
Which is just not true.
That's what I've heard this whole time, and got to the point of like, well, that sucks. Like, I don't have that kind of money. No. I'm never going to get to experience this. I'm not talking VIP. I'm just talking go period.
Yeah.
From what I've heard you say, I'm like,
it's not that expensive. Like, I mean, we spent $4,400. You could do the trip, I think, very similar to how we did it. So same seats, but like say you drove the way, and if you are a little more frugal about your money, you could do it for $2,700 to $3,300, no problem.
I mean, 35. I want to be clear. I am not at all saying $35,000 or $4,000.
It's a lot of money.
That is so much money. But if I'm doing a big trip with my wife, it is not going to be a thing where like, oh yeah, the Miami GP's next week, let's go. It's going to be, hey, let's do this in a year or so.
What a lot of people online are saying is like, well, yeah, but for that amount of money, you could go do both the Italy races and Silverstone in Monaco and this and that and all over Europe, where it's a lot less expensive. If someone called me and said, hey, if you have the cash, you can do it again next weekend, I would.
Yeah, so on a personal level, having heard everything you're saying, I am now even more enthusiastic about not anything this year, because my wife and I, as of like 3 months ago, have become like hardcore fans. Like, I'm gonna have a conversation with her and be like, hey, for the GPs next year, let's start saving a little bit here and there, and like I authentically like want to go to one of these now. Like it sounds like a absolutely awesome time.
Yeah.
Okay, so to end the video out, I am really excited about going. Is it expensive for a big trip? I really don't think so.
No.
You said you had a great time and would want to go again.
Yeah.
I came to the expectation that if Heather and I wanted to go to an F1 event, it would probably cost $5,500 per ticket to go. And then we have food, and then we have a flight, and then hotel. So I'm looking at like a $12,000 to $15,000 thing, which is way outside of what I could afford.
Yeah.
But if it's like $4,500,
yeah,
that's something we can afford to do. So what are like the top 3 things people should know generally before they go? The top 3 things.
Top 3 things. It can be done a lot cheaper than you think. Do your research. If you're into like logistical planning, plan it really far ahead of time. It can be done for not a lot of money. If you're gonna go the route that we did, like if you're not gonna do general admission, you're gonna get seats. Make sure they're covered.
Okay.
Absolutely 100%. My favorite thing has got to be just the variety of things to do.
Thank you for telling me like all of this. I am authentically excited about this stuff. So
now I do have some complaints.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not major.
Okay,
you said top 3 things, bottom 3 things.
Okay, so let's do bottom 3 things.
So bottom 3 things, the signage. So there's a great signage to get to the event. Once you're in there, there's great signage as to where things are.
Okay.
Like you'll see a big sign that's like this way to that, this way to that. Limited access, which means you have to have like a special ticket.
Okay.
Limited access.
Right.
The next 4 things will not say that, but will require limited access.
Oh. Okay.
So like they weren't super clear as to what required a special ticket and what didn't.
Right.
Second least favorite thing is probably gonna be, there's sometimes large gaps of just walking. Again, there's so much stuff to do, but like if you're walking on the outside of the track and you go to turn 10 or the turn 10 grandstand, there's like, you can walk down to get to the turn 11 complex.
Right.
It's a decent far walk, but it's just you're walking next to a fence. They don't have a lot of room to put stuff over there.
Right.
Or if you go the other way, there's like the fan zone and all the vendors, and like from all the gates to where most of the seating is, it's real. There's tons and tons of stuff.
Okay.
But if you happen to like go the long way around, it's
kind of barren.
It's kind of barren and weird. My third thing is, I think not really with the event, but more so with parking.
Okay.
Now we lucked out. We parked in lot 43, which like I said, it's like a 1.5 mile walk. If you parked at one of the closer parking lots, good luck getting out of there.
Would you go to that parking again?
Yeah. I wouldn't park anywhere else.
So a hint is don't park close up. Actually park farther back.
Park a little further back. Be okay with walking. You're gonna be walking all day anyway. Deal with it. As a fat guy, just deal with it.
I know this is kind of a different style video, but we're a car channel, and F1 cars are cars. So we figured if we're fans and into it, you guys might be into it too. If you guys enjoyed these videos, or this video, let us know, because I would love to make more F1 videos.
Yeah, and I could talk about this for days. So if there's anything that if you guys have any weird questions that I maybe didn't answer, or you want a better answer, or whatever,
drop them in the comments.
Drop them in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm happy to chat.
Yeah. So outro crew, if you made it to the end of this video is probably a little bit longer, but
yeah, it's approximately 150 years long.
Yeah, thank you for getting to the end of the video. Make sure to like the video. It's super freaking helpful. And put OC in your comment. That stands for outro crew. And let us know, have you ever gone to an F1 event? And if you have, what did you think about it? If you haven't, do you want to still? All right, guys, thank you guys for watching the video. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you on the next video with car stuff. It's not going, oh, I have to push down and then back and then. You'll get it in a future, okay.